everybody for being here for Mac.
Welcome to I-35 Speedway for some great IMCA racing.
Looks like it's going to go to Dave Coates in the 31, Wes Bestien running second. The 34 of Mick Ross running third. Here comes the 11 of Caleb Dennis. Now getting a challenge from the 80 of Ty Parrott. Duke Jacobs all over Caleb Dennis's back bumper. Brett Shields in that 8S on the outside. Followed by Anthony Asher. Got some debris on the racetrack up in turn 4. Curtis is going to get it off. Going to get out there and get that off, so we'll stay green. Caleb Dennis making a move, trying to get that third spot away from Mitch Ross. He'll make the pass. Duke Jacobs looking to come right behind him. Jacobs now going to look to the inside of Caleb Dennis. Oh, Wes Bestien gets sideways onto the infield. He'll come back out. Go, Duke, go, Duke Jacobs now up to second around Caleb Dennis. Look at the 31 of Dave Coates. He's checking out from the field. Duke Jacobs running second. Brett Shields up to third. Your points leader, Chris Wright, fourth. Caleb Dennis fifth. Wes Bestien sixth. Here comes Blake Peeler to the inside of Anthony Asher. Jeff Stott side by side with Clay Hale. Duke Jacobs closing in on your leader. Dave Coates in the 31. Brett Shields to the inside of Duke Jacobs looking for that second position. Wes Bestien side by side with Blake Peeler, getting that position to Blake Peeler. Here comes Jeff Stotts, he's up to fifth. Or actually sixth, bringing Clay Hale behind him. Hale gonna look to the inside. Now Jeff Stotts to the outside of Caleb Dennis. They're saying debris on the front straightaway.
Jimmy, is there debris on the front straightaway? I gotta raise the right in front of you.
Yellow flag out for debris on the racetrack. Or got a spring on the front straightaway. Had the fans pointing at it, officials looking for it. Locked eyes on it now. Check out that race at the front. It's been a long time for Dave Coates to be up front, and he led the first 7 laps. 7 laps complete, 8 to go here in the IMCA Northern Sport Mods. Green flag comes back out. Good restart there for Dave Coates in the 31 car. Chris Wright in fourth. Caleb Dennis now getting a challenge from Jeff Stotts for that 5th spot. Jeff Stotts now up to 5th, trying to bring Chris Wright right behind him. Dave Coates slides up the racetrack, gives the lead over to Duke Jacobs in the 44. Brett Shields up to 2nd. Chris Wright now 3rd, Jeff Stotts 4th, Dave Coates 5th. Oh, Dave Coates gets turned around. Causes Anthony Asher to get turned around. Stacks him up in the back.
We're yellow, turn 2. We're yellow, turn 2.
Clay Hale Shield back on the racetrack. Lights out, green flag getting set to come out. Duke Jacobs, your leader in the 44D. Green flag comes back out. Good restart there for Duke Jacobs. Gets away from Dave Coates a little bit. Coates going to get a challenge from Brett Shields. Shields get a challenge from Chris Wright. Brett Shields will now move up into your second spot. Jeff Stott's on the outside of Chris Wright, trying to move by the 66 the points leader. Blake Peeler trying to get around Caleb Dennis. Chris Wright to the inside of Dave Coates looking for third. Oh, a little bit of smoke out of the back of Jeff Stotts. Looks like the rear end come out from underneath the car. He'll go up over the bank. The 12 of Jeff Stotts losing the rear end.
Finish this lap, then go yellow.
Yellow flag going to come out for the 12 of Jeff Stotts. Green flag comes back out. Duke Jacobs, your leader. Brett Shields second. Chris Wright third. Blake Peeler fourth. Caleb Dennis fifth. Randy Ainsworth looks to the inside of Mark Hunsinger. Mike Tanner takes the position away from Paige Lapine. Brett Shields looking to the inside of Duke Jacobs for that lead. Jacobs slides up the racetrack, opens the door for Brett Shields and Chris Wright to get by. The 92 of Blake Peeler trying to get by. Chris Wright trying to make it 2 in a row in the 66 car, but he's got to get by Brett Shields to do it. Duke Jacobs side by side with Blake Peeler for that third spot. Caleb Dennis still got that fifth spot. Now Anthony Asher looking to take it away. He'll get by Caleb Dennis. Opens the door for Mitch Ross to try to get by. Clint Baker looking for room in that 17X car. Here comes Billy Barton in the 19D. We lost the 80 and Ty Parrott on the infield. White flag out for the 8S of Brett Shields. Chris Wright second. Duke Jacobs third. Blake Peeler fourth. Anthony Asher fifth. Out of turn 4, checkered flag gonna come out. For the 8S, Brett Shields, second spot for 76, and Chris Wright, third and 44, Duke Jacobs.
Top four to the scales. Top four to the scales.
Your first year at I-35 Speedway, how's that feel?
That feels pretty good.
You've come out all year, tried real hard, had some torn up cars, some mechanical failures, but tonight you find yourself in victory lane.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. I gotta have a special thanks out to Sean Woods and Shay Woods and his family and my pit crew for coming and helping me. If it wasn't for them guys, I wouldn't be able to do it. And all my sponsors too.
All right, tonight's feature winner, taking it back to Mount Air, Iowa, that's Brett Shields.
Winner Circle Awards, the sponsor on the trophies here in the Hobby Stock Division.
Thank you, JD.
Into turn 4, foot to the floor, the engines come a roar, green flag high in the air. Mike Young's going to take that early lead. David Willey coming up behind him. Here comes Mick Ross in the 34. He'll get up to third. Young's a little sideways. David Willey unable to capitalize. He's going to lose second spot to Mick Ross. He's going to battle back on that outside line. Take that second spot back. Mick Ross, your third place car. Bruce Fair, fourth. 12X of Matthew Lance, fifth. I've been paging her to come up here, but I guess she's upset. Thank you. David Willey to the inside of Mike Youngs. He'll take the lead away from Mike Youngs. Dan Stimson in that 7D. Little contact between him and Alexis Whitney. Mike Young's not losing much ground to your leader. Bruce Fair now up to third in the 44 car. Mick Ross fourth. Matthew Lance fifth. Here comes your points leader Greg Q, an 8-time feature winner. He's up to 6 around Lee Farmer. Bruce Fair now gets up to 2nd around Mike Young's. Problems for the 59 on Mike Young's. He's losing a lot of positions. He'll move up top, let the cars get around him. Bruce Fair running down your leader, David Willey in that 70 car. Matthew Lance now up to 3rd. Mick Ross 4th, now getting a challenge from the points leader, Greg Kewen in that 3K. Looking for his 9th feature win of the season. Leading that category by quite a few. I believe the next one behind him is a 3. Bruce Fair to the inside of David Willey looking for the lead. He's looking for his 2nd feature win of the season. Halfway done here in the IMCA Hobby Stocks. Matthew Lance looking to the outside of David Willey for 2nd. Greg Kewen side by side. Lee Farmer for that 4th spot. Farmer still has a little thin trail of smoke coming out of the back of that 17 car. David Willey trying to hold off Matthew Lance. Lance up high, has more momentum out of the corners. He'll take that 2nd spot as he looks to chase down your leader, Bruce Fair at the 44. Bruce Fair coming up on lap traffic. Problems for the 34 of Mick Ross. He'll keep going. The 59 Mike Young's pulls to the infield. Bruce Fair trying to negotiate lap traffic. Puts 2 lap cars in between him and Matthew Lance. Lee Farmer looks to the inside. Trying to get by Lance. Lance now getting through lap traffic. Looks like Mick Ross will make it back to the pit area. Bruce Fair, your leader in that 44, trying to get around Jeremy Turner to put him a lap down. '17 of Lee Farmer running 2nd to the inside of 12X of Matthew Lance.
Leader out of 4.
Greg Kewen now up to 4th. Lee Farmer up to 2nd. White flag out for the 44 of Bruce Fair. 12X of Matthew Lance now takes that 2nd spot back. Got a car sitting in turn 4. Checkered flag going to come out for the 44 of Bruce Fair. 2nd spot's going to go to the 12X of Matthew Lance. 3rd to the 17 of Lee Farmer. 4th to Greg Kewen. 5th to David Willey.
Bruce, last week you had motor problems, didn't make it out for your feature. You put the old motor back in, looked like she was humming pretty good tonight.
Yeah, we changed a couple things on it, just new plug wires and stuff like that, but it really made a big difference. It's really hooking up tonight and it was running.
Go down and get you something cold to drink.
Into turn 4, foot to the floor, the engines come a roar. Green flag high in the air. Darren Clay will take that early lead in that 98 I-35 Speedway Coca-Cola racing car. Rodney Schweitzer in that Lakeside convertible sport mod takes over that 2nd spot. Jeff Smith going in there full throttle, getting into Rodney Schweitzer, hooks him up. Yeah, take him onto the infield.
Green, lights out, coming green.
Green flag comes back out.
74.
Lost the 74. That was 41. 41, Shane Florence went to the pit area. Here comes the 11T of Mike Taylor Jr. up to 2nd. Darren Kling, big lead over the 11T of Mike Taylor Jr. Dean Ray now sits 3rd. Mike Ryan 4th. Mike Jones 5th. Marshall Jewett now up to 5th in that 6 car. Dean Ray getting a good run down the back straightaway. Going to look to the outside of Mike Taylor Jr. as they're right on the back bumper, your leader. Darren Kling in the 98. Kling now puts a little distance in between him and Taylor Jr. Buzz Caster getting it to the inside of Mike Jones. He'll get up to that 6th position. 2nd, 3rd, and 4th was nose to tail, literally. Anybody would have got on the brakes when it took out both cars. While they're racing, Darren Kling pulls away just a little bit. Dean Ray getting a challenge now from Mike Ryan. Ryan looking for that 3rd spot. Side by side for 3rd. Dean Ray, Mike Ryan. Mike Taylor Jr. ducks under the 98 and Darren Kling for the lead. Into turn 3, looks like he'll take the lead. Darren Kling gonna try to cross him back up. Looks to the inside, unable to capitalize. Dean Ray in that 77 looks to the inside of Darren Kling for that 2nd spot. Marshall Jewett now got a back bumper full of Buzz Caster. Caster looks to the inside, looking for that 5th position. Jewett holds on to that 5th position. Almost a 3-wide battle out of turn 2 between Dean Ray, Darren Kling, and Mike Ryan. While they're battling, Mike Taylor Jr. puts some distance in between him and Dean Ray. Mike Ryan to the inside of Darren Kling as Dean Ray takes over 2nd. Mike Ryan looking for 3rd. Darren Kling way up top trying to get some momentum out of the high line. Trying to get back by Mike Ryan. Dean Ray, your 2nd place car, sits 2nd in the points to Mike Ryan. I believe 3 points back of the 51M. So he's trying to close that gap in between him and Mike Ryan. Ryan now secures that 3rd spot. Buzz Caster up to 5th in that 54 car. Mike Taylor Jr. in that 11TO. Problems for the 5 of Mike Jones. And I believe the 72 of Matt Dibbon. Flag comes back out. 11T Mike Taylor Jr., your leader. In that AAA transmission machine, Dean Ray in the WW Motorsports. Clay County Engine Rebuilder 77 sits in 2nd. Flying Mike Ryan in that Yancey's Automotive 51M sits in 3rd. 3-car breakaway. Dean Ray gonna look to the inside of Mike Taylor Jr. for the lead. Taylor Jr. closes down. He's now right in front of Mike Ryan. Mike Ryan up to 2nd, the 51M. He's caught some fire on that last lap. He's going to look to the inside of Mike Taylor Jr. for the lead. Don Mars through the infield. Spins her out now on the infield. White flag out for the 11T of Mike Taylor Jr. 51M of Mike Ryan 2nd. He's going to look to the inside, 3 wide. Mike Ryan with a last lap pass. Taylor Jr. going to drive it in hard and deep. Make it stick. Who's it going to be? The 51 of Flying Mike Ryan. Dean Ray comes home 2nd. Mike Taylor Jr. 3rd. Teammate Darren Kling. Buzz Caster 4th and 5th.
Down here with Flying Mike Ryan. Mike Ryan, what a pass you had coming out of turn 2 on Mike Taylor Jr. He tried to get you back in turn 3, but you made her stick.
Yeah, I just put the hammer down and left it. It worked.
I tell you what, I went through my closet the other day and I still got my Mike Ryan shirt from years ago when you drove the green and white Grand National.
Well, you better wear it. We're doing good.
I catch favoritism. Anybody like to thank?
Yeah, I want to thank all the fans for coming. It's been a great night for us. I want to thank Yancey's Automotive for putting these wheels underneath me. And special thanks to my pit crew. They've been getting her dialed in real nice, so I'm happy.
You lead the points. Dean raced second in the points, finishes second behind you. Third feature win for the 51M of Flying Mike Ryan. Into turn 4, to the 40, and the green flag out here. John Muller Jr. and John Muller the third side by side. John Muller John Muller the first. Looking for that second position. Then a whole slew of cars behind him. Keep your eyes on these next front round of 5 wide and not touch your luck. Definitely tough race. As they go 3 wide down the back straightaway. Thomas, Roberts, James, and Cameron put together.
Green flag getting set to come back out. John Buller Jr. his second race back. Finished top 5 last week. Looking for a win tonight. Green flag comes back out. Little bit of smoke coming out of the back of the X9 of Brad Whitney. Jeff Dixon now takes over that second spot, trying to bring Josh Steele behind him. Gene Stiegel up high on the outside of Steele. Whitney will look to the inside of Stiegel. Brad Whitney will pull on the infield in the X9. Bad luck all season so far for Brad Whitney. Jeff Dixon now takes the lead. Josh Steele getting into his boss a little bit, gets John Buller Jr. turned around. Jeff Dixon, your leader. John Buller the third, second. Josh Steele third.
Yeah, once the outside, he wants the outside, so see.
Green flag comes back out. Jeff Dixon, a good restart for that 88 car. Getting away from John Buller the third. Josh Steele looking to take that second spot away from his teammate. Thomas Roberts right behind them. Travis Taylor loses the spot to Jake Cameron. The leader all out in front by himself, 3 wide out of turn 4, almost 4 wide with Gene Stiegel there. John Buller the third sits in second. Josh Steele side by side with Gene Stiegel for third. Thomas Roberts looks to the inside. He's trying to move up on the inside of Josh Steele for that 4th position. Josh Steele now looking to take third from John Buller the third. Gene Stiegel in that 20 car, your leader, or you're sitting in second now behind your leader, Jeff Dixon. Gene Stiegel on the move in that 20 car. He knows with Jason or Kevin Anderson out of this race, he has a chance to take over that points lead. Side by side for third, Josh Steele, John Buller the third. Gene Stiegel, look to the inside of Jeff Dixon. Gonna look to the inside again, trying to get that lead away from your leader. Halfway done here in the IMCA Stock Car A feature. Gene Stiegel still right on that inside of Jeff Dixon. Josh Steele now up to third, Thomas Roberts fourth. Jake Cameron side by side with John Buller the third for fifth. Lap traffic coming up. Looks like the 97 Travis Taylor, smoke coming out of the back of him. He'll take it back to the pit area. Gene Stiegel tried everything to get around Jeff Dixon. Jeff Dixon doing a good job holding him off. Yellow flag going to come out for the one of Christopher Smith. Green flag comes back out. Jeff Dixon Trying to get away from Gene Stiegel. Stiegel with a good restart. Thomas Roberts looking to take that second spot away. Stiegel up high, Roberts down low. Trying to get around Jeff Dixon. Dixon doing a good job holding him off. Thomas Roberts to the inside of Stiegel. Stiegel now to the inside of Jeff Dixon. Good driving there by Stiegel to get on the brakes and not run over Jeff Dixon. Stiegel gonna try her again on the inside. Dixon running that high line. That's the line Stiegel usually prefers. He's got more momentum. Able to get up off the corners as well as Dixon. A little bit of contact between Stiegel and Dixon opens the door for Thomas Roberts on the outside. Takes that lead away from Jeff Dixon. Dixon now back to second. Stiegel now up to second. Jeff Dixon third. Josh Steele fourth. Jake Cameron fifth. Thomas Roberts looking for his second feature win of the season. Josh Steele looked to the inside of Jeff Dixon, trying to get that third position away from the 88. John Bowler Jr. on the inside of John Bowler III for that sixth spot. Top four pretty spread out now. Thomas Roberts, Gene Stiegel, Jeff Dixon, Josh Steele, Jake Cameron, your top five. White flag out for the 65X of Thomas Roberts. Roberts looking to take home the Cameron's Auto Repair Stock Car A feature trophy for the second time this season. Out of turn 4, checkered flag out for the 65X of Thomas Roberts. Second spot to the 20X of Josh Steele, third to the 88 of Jeff Dixon.
Cheeseworks guy can get a shot of us, Thomas. As I was coming down here, your dad pointed out that's win number 65 in your career.
Guess that's a good number.
Well, it's your car number. You took a few weeks off to recuperate, you know, build up the money supply. You come out, get your second win of the season, your second night.
Yeah, I don't like to say, I was getting kind of burnt out anyway, you know. We took a few weeks off, kind of worked on the car a little bit, you know. We're kind of struggling with it. We got it a little faster anyway, but we got it going now. I got to thank Mike Ryan's crew tonight. They loaned me my studs for my left rear when I forgot to tighten my lug nuts. That was my fault.
They loaned you your fill-up?
No, they loaned me some wheel studs when I lost my wheel out there.
You said stud. I got confused.
So I gotta thank them guys. If not, I mean, no one else in the pits had anything but get me going. So gotta thank them guys.
All right, tonight's feature winner, 65 rear, the 65X of Thomas Roberts.
Walk away with the Jimson Pest Control trophy tonight here in your IMCA Modifieds. Out of turn 4, foot to the floor, the engines come roar, green flag high in the air. Steve Starmer on that outside front row takes the lead into turn 1. Shane Bailey up to second, Bud Wilson third, Buzz Caster fourth. Shea Woods on the outside of Rick Spriggs. Problems for Buzz Caster. Slides up the racetrack, loses a bunch of positions. Steve Starmer went over the bank, comes back on. He'll keep the lead. Looks like we lost the 69 in of Corey Ray. Perry Milburn now up to 4th. Here comes Shea Woods up to 5th. Jim Cameron on that outside trying to get around Rick Spriggs for 6th. He'll make the pass and he'll get the 5th spot from Shea Woods. Bud Wilson on the inside takes the lead away from Steve Starmer. Perry Milburn 3rd. Oh, Shane Bailey losing the handle on the 777 gets turned around. Green flag comes back out. Steve Starmer in that 11S, your leader. Bud Wilson gonna look to the inside. Starmer up high. Bud Wilson side by side with Steve Starmer for the lead. Bud Wilson sits in second. Battle for that third spot between Shea Woods and Perry Milburn. Milburn has the third spot. Shea Woods fourth. Milburn on the outside. Bud Wilson slides up right in front of him and cuts off his line. Bud Wilson still trying to get that lead away from Steve Starmer. Buzz Caster up the racetrack a little bit, opens the door for Dave Bozak. Oh, Milburn, contact with him and Shea Woods. Perry Milburn gets turned around and lights out. Green flag getting set to come back out. Green flag comes back out. Steve Starmer, a good restart, puts a little distance in between him and Wilson. Wilson closes the gap. Look to the inside for the lead. Rick Spriggs going to look to the inside of Jim Cameron. Now Buzz Caster on the outside of Rick Spriggs. Trying to get around him for that fifth spot. Steve Starmer slides up the racetrack, opens the door for Bud Wilson. Wilson takes the lead down the back straightaway. Steve Starmer trying to battle back, but now has Jim Cameron won that second spot from the 11S. Rick Spriggs trying to get that fourth spot back. He'll take that fourth spot from Buzz Caster. Jim Cameron still side by side with Steve Starmer. Give the second spot to Jim Cameron. Yellow flag out. Looks like it's the 12P of Perry Milburn. Green flag comes back out. Bud Wilson, a good restart, gets a little distance between him and Steve Starmer. Rick Spriggs looked to the inside of Caster. Caster now on the back bumper of Jim Cameron. Two-car breakaway. 11S of Steve Starmer looks to the inside of Bud Wilson. Jim Cameron getting a challenge from Buzz Caster. Shea Woods gets around Dave Bozak. The 12M and John McAtee gets turned around in turn number 2. Yellow flag comes out for the 12M of John McAtee. Bud Wilson, Steve Starmer, good starts there for both of them. Jim Cameron up high in the 96C. Buzz Caster set in fourth. Rick Spriggs fifth. Spriggs going to look to the inside of Caster as Shea Woods looks to the inside of Dave Bozak. Jim Cameron will take that second spot away from Starmer. Starmer back on the inside. Looking to get back around Mr. Excitement, Jim Cameron. Cameron hanging that 96C on the outside like he would his sprint car back in the old days. Now switches back to the inside, slides up the racetrack, puts some distance in between him and Starmer. 12M John McAtee gets turned around again for the second time. Mr. Excitement, Jim Cameron. Steve Starmer still sits in third. Shea Woods on the outside of Rick Spriggs. Trying to get that fourth position away from the 81. He'll make the pass. Shea Woods loves the high side. Goes up high on Steve Starmer. Steve Starmer takes the line away. Jim Cameron now closing in on the 26 of Bud Wilson. Shea Woods will now take the third spot away from Steve Starmer. Starmer now getting a challenge from Rick Spriggs. 12M coming John McAtee to the pit area. Bud Wilson now all by himself. Jim Cameron got a little bit too high. Car picks up a push going into the corners. Shea Wood sits in that third spot. Steve Starmer fourth. Again, Cameron's car picks up a push. Shea Wood's now up to second. White flag out for the 26 of Bud Wilson. Shea Wood second, Jim Cameron third, Steve Starmer fourth, Rick Spriggs fifth. Out of turn four, checkered flag for the second time this season to the 26 of Bud Wilson. Second spot to the 20 of Shea Woods. Third's going to go to the 11S of Steve Starmer. 96C Jim Cameron at the line.
I'm up here at I-35, and we're sort of back in the back pasture, but we got the winner here tonight for the A-Main, for the A-Mods. Bud Wilson, your second win this year. Man, you stayed out there and got it.
Yeah, it's a pretty good night for us. Steve Starmer run pretty good, but I finally got around him and held on to it. And it seemed like the car worked pretty good.
Well, I mean, there was a ton of guys up there. I think, who was it? Cameron was up there one time, Starmer, and then right there toward the end, the 20, Shea was up there. So, man, there was a bunch of guys up there trying to get you, but they just couldn't do it.
Yeah, the racetrack was had a big cushion around the top of it. It was pretty hard to pass the car when there's a big cushion around the top. So I just got fortunate enough to get out front before anybody else did.
Just get out there and go as fast as you could.
Yep. Yeah. Worked pretty good. Yeah. I thank my family and my wife, and if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be here doing this. So,
boy, I understand that part. It takes a crew, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. I got my brother-in-law Murph and my sister and wife Amanda and Larry Moore. They come with me every week. And Cliff Anderson.
Tell me this. Always interested in knowing this. What's the winning chassis and who's making the power for it?
It's Cameron engines and it's a jet mod.
Well, all right, man. Your engine man was back here pushing you then, huh?
He might have given me just a little bit too much tonight, you think? It's a pretty good night, all in all.
Okay, once again, your winner for the A-Mods at I-35, Bud Wilson. Way to go, Bud.
Thank you.